Hello, welcome to Andertons TV. My name is Jet Touch, but he's the Maltese Falcon. And this is
Harry.
Come on, man.
How you doing? You alright?
Yeah, good, thank you,
Good.
mate. We've got a day of videos with you. Harry makes awesome music. We're going to put the links in so you can go check it out. And he works in the store. Thank you, mate.
No worries.
And we've been listening to you. I struggle with GrooveBoxes. And I just don't make music like that. Harry does. How long have you had this?
So we've been borrowing this for a couple of weeks now. It's brand new. It's in the shop. It's in stock. So yeah, come down and have a look.
We're going to go through it. I'm going to ask Harry what he's learned. We haven't had a chat about it yet, so we're going to high five and get into it. Come on.
This is the Elektron Syntakt. Ultimately, it's a 12-track drum computer and synthesizer. Let's just take a look at the layout firstly. So on the top here, we have 8 digital samples, but they like to be referred to as machines. And then 4 analog machines as well. So if we just have a quick listen to what we got here. Some nice kick drums, snares, more snares, claps, hi-hats, some nice digital synth, effects, and some, percussion. Down here on the bottom 4, you've got some nice analog, which is real analog, kick drum, snare, again a nice synth, and a nice ride. So that's the sort of the basis of getting your beats down. These last 3 are triggers. So as you can hear, they are set to 8/8, 16ths, 32. And that depends on what sample you have selected. You can do it on all of them. So that's your sort of bottom section. Up here on the top, you've got nice 8 rotary encoders, which will adjust things you can see corresponding on the screen. So if we start with the kick drum, for instance, we have the tuning dial first of all. So you can tune your kit quite nicely.
That's it. So they're almost like locked in. The machine thing makes sense, right? That you're not swapping sounds out. It's a device, you edit that sound, right?
Exactly right. So I mean, we can actually have a look at that. So holding function will, obviously, as you can see, each key has a second function. So hold function, open up the machine. We can actually see on this first track what available options we have. So modern kick drums, a couple of snares, some percussion, again, vintage claps.
Oh, so you can swap out the machines that are in there?
Yeah, absolutely. So these are the digital 8.
Right.
So for this one, we'll just keep with the kick drum. It's a nice sound. You can go yes and no. No will basically back you out of any menu, so that'll take us back to this screen here. You have some nice options here for the kick drum, so we can do overdrive, always a good one to start with. Nice heavy overdrive. Got the overall decay of the kick drum. You've got a pinch, which is, I guess, like a transient shaper.
Like skateboarding, that's pinch.
That's pinch, yeah. Quite distorted, so we'll leave that one off for this. You've got this modulator here, which is like modulator and feedback.
They do they do a lot with a little on the graphics, don't they?
This is it, it's nice. Everyone's slightly different, but you can see how it's sort of adding a bit of a Redux style kind of fizz, maybe. I think it sounds a bit better clean. And then the overall wave shape sort of modulation, so more sine versus more sort of square saw, which is quite nice. So that sounds quite cool. So I guess the first thing we need to do is put it into a pattern mode. So right now we're in a jam mode.
Let's do it, yeah.
So this is like, you can play your samples like you would a traditional sampler, but if you hit record, that then puts you into the stepper mode. You have 4 pages of steps. So right now we're on page 1. So if we want to do, just start with a 4 to the floor, we can just go simple, press play. That will just do 1 page. If you want to add more pages, so 16 steps is not enough, you can do function, page. For this particular track, it will show you how long that length is. So we can add steps.
All right, per track.
Per track,
yeah, right.
That's it. So you can have a kick drum that has 32, or even go all the way up to 64 if you want to be creative. So let's do that, and that will open up 4 pages. So that's page 1. To apply it, just hit yes. So now we have 4 pages. Great, right? Second page, third page, 4th page.
Jimmy Page.
Cool. So I guess we can now move on to the next track. So to get back to that, just unrecord, move over to the next sample, snare. Let's sort of play around with that sound a little bit. Nice decay. Just tune it up a little bit.
I get that machine thing now a bit more now, seeing it. Like specialised options per voice.
So they might change. You see they've slightly changed now. We're in a different sample. We don't have the same options available. So let's just play around with this. Complexity.
Inharmonicity.
Inharmonicity. Yeah, I think you got that right, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're inventing new stuff, man.
That's what it's all about. Cool, so it's quite a dry sample. I think it would sound quite nice if we add some effects to it. So we can go over to the amp section here. This is our sort of ADSR, so we can adjust, you know, the attack time, decay, release time. But what we can also do is, if holding function, go into the reverb tab, we'll open up the reverb. So let's add a bit of reverb in. Nice. Adjust the parameters of that reverb, a bit more decay. Turn it down a little bit.
One of the best viewing angles of any screen. I was just weirdly thinking, I can still read that here.
That's it. It's actually a really high def OLED screen.
I can see why people gig with this stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. Nice, so that's quite cool. So let's add that back into the sequence. So go back to the recording chain, go to page 1. So let's just do a simple.
Hey.
Nice. Cool, go back to the sort of drum mode. Let's get some hi-hats in. Maybe a little bit of reverb again. Add it to the sequence.
And you're zipping around it. Did you ever have an Elektron product before?
This is the first Elektron product I've ever used, and it just makes sense, you know. Everything is laid out really nice and easy. Once you get your head around the difference between the sample mode and the sequencing mode, it is actually nice and easy.
Did you watch any other videos than anyone else in the run-up?
I watched the initial launch video from Elektron, and then I just thought the best way to do it was just to get stuck in. So literally had a quick flick of the manual. It's really useful if you do get stuck.
That wasn't to catch it, that was just in case you'd learnt from something.
No, that's it.
Yeah, because you're flying around it.
Yeah, it's good. So let's maybe add some offbeats. Cool. So we've kind of got some rhythmic stuff. So let's add some melodic things. We've got the analog synth down here. If you go into the machine mode, we can have a see of what we've got available. So let's go into this one. So on here, you've got the level data or sound browser. So we can literally have a listen. Loads of stuff on here, hundreds and hundreds of different things on here. So let's try bass vintage. Let's try that. Right now, obviously that's just playing one sample. We need to put it into keyboard mode. So function, keyboard. That'll put it in the chromatic keyboard. Right now, we're just in the chromatic scale, but you can actually adjust that. So you've got Dorian scales, loads of other ones there, and actually choose the start note. So right note, this is a C sharp. You can change. So right, let's say we're now in F. So that's quite cool. I guess we should probably set the tempo as well. We haven't actually done that yet. So if we go to tap tempo, you can see that's at 120. Maybe let's just make it a little bit faster. Let's go 124. And if you want to see the metronome options, we can go to here, function, metronome, turn the click on. And we also have this little pre-roll bar intro, because you don't want it to record straight away. You want that little 1 bar just before. So if we add that, cool. Just a little 1 bar count in, makes the recording a little bit easier. Let's go back. Cool. So a little bit high up for a bass.
Got an analog synth in there, I can see. Yeah.
It's a really rich, nice sounding synth as well. So let's go down an octave.
Do you know if it's polyphonic? Have you ever, can you play 2 notes at once?
I think it's mono. This particular synth is mono.
Right, cool.
There are chord options though, so you can get some samples that are chord, and we'll have a little look at that.
All right, wicked, as well. Sorry.
Yeah, it's good. So if we go into the filter, maybe we can cut off the filter a little bit more. Right here you can see you've got frequency options, resonance, all your standard stuff. You can change the type of the filter. High pass. I think for this, we'll stick with a nice low pass. Nice warm sub.
Oh.
You can actually add a little bit of envelope to it as well. So if you want it to stab, you can stab it based on the envelope shape you have at the top. So.
Cool.
We can go with that. So if we go back to the keyboard. You can try that.
Yeah.
So we've shown you how to do step-based sequencing, but we can obviously just record it and play along to it. So if I hold it,
that's where I fall apart.
go?
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to put all those in.
Would you want to give us a melody?
No, that was cool. No,
Yeah.
I'm just interested to see it.
Okay, yeah, sure. So if you press record, it will take you to the sequence. If you press record and play, it will give you that 1 bar count in, and then we should be able to make a little melody. So.
Oh man.
Okay, and unlike yourself, my playing is not quite tight enough.
I mean, no one's going to expect anything off playing a calculator.
But there's a really quick and easy off a calculator. I love it. So you've got Quantize, my favourite. So you go in here,
Cool.
You can quantize the whole track if everything's a little bit sloppy. So you've got the global quantize or just the singular track. So for this one, let's just quantize it all the way and it's fixed. Cool. So we kind of touched on a few things there. You can obviously add a bit of variation. So I think if we go into the hi-hat track that we had there, because that's a little bit boring at the moment.
If you haven't played with one of these boxes, I implore you to feel them, right?
That's it. It's a very very
you said it like ASMR-y.
That's it, very ASMR.
Experience.
Yeah, exactly that.
Really, yeah. Until you sit at one, you might have watched videos on there. And again, Andertons, we are a shop. So they do, what's the return policy on these things?
So you've got 14 days if you try it, you don't quite like it. If you want to swap it to something different, you've got 30 days.
Great.
That's it. It's
so
a
you
no-brainer.
can buy it, make a video on it, and then send it back.
That's it. So if we go back to the hi-hat track, which is this one here, go back to the record. If we just make it a little bit more interesting, let's just add them all in.
All right.
Add all of them in. Oh, stuff sound. There we go. Cool, so now we've got them playing consistently, right? It's a bit robotic, a bit monotonous. So we've got this probability function up at the top here for the hi-hat track. So if you change the probability percentage, let's say, put it to something random like maybe 66%, so 2/3, it will only play those hi-hats, 2/3 of the time, randomly, to keep it a little bit more mixed up, so. Yeah.
Sick.
So just.
And it's changing.
Yeah, it expands your sequence. So yes, you've got 4 pages and you can make a more complex pattern, but you can also just adjust the probability and mix and play with it that way. So that's quite cool.
Big win.
Yeah, big win. You've also got LFOs. So you can add different LFOs from different things. So if we take this LFO for the hi-hat and send it to the reverb, for instance, if I can just find that on this list. Release time, well, let's just do release time. That will do the similar effect. So on this hi-hat now, it will modulate the release time and open and close the hi-hat, giving a little bit more variation as well. Maybe I need to open up this a little bit more. So if we play that.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a weird
It's like
effect.
having a little guy jamming along with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess we could find a little top line for this. So let's go back to our digital sounds and have another browse through what we got. Maybe we can find one of those pads you're after, so like a chord-based.
I was just seeing if it That represents, as a guy that's into that stuff, good value to me. If I could play a chord on it, I'm excited.
Let's have a little look.
I don't know if chords are cool anymore.
There you go. So there's a perk synth chord there. You can load that in, and now it gives you this little sort of Pac-Man graphic here.
Yeah.
So if we go back to the keyboard mode, it's a nice major 7th, or you can change it to...
You nailed it on that first one.
There you go. Kind of a weird progression, but you can at least have...
Type in the ones you want and then
find
change
the right
the chord.
and then... Quite housey.
Yeah.
So again, we can add maybe a bit of delay on that one. So again, you've got time sync delay. We can go into quantize here, or delay, sorry. Good thing to know as well, if you hold down function and then adjust one of these rotaries, it will lock into a time signature, versus if you're just freehanding it, it will fine tune that particular parameter. So I think for delay, we could just go for maybe quarter. Or maybe a quarter dotted. And go back to this and just try record something in. Cool, so again, a little bit sloppy, go straight in and quantize it. There we go, nice. Come out of that, maybe cut off this sound a little bit more. I mean, there's a whole beat right there.
And when you're there, when you're at that point, what's, I understand a lot of why people like Elektron, I think, is they call it trig stuff, or like, to me, automation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Have you ever
right.
played with any of that stuff?
Yeah, exactly. So you can do that with basically applying all the effects to the whole track. You can use the filter in the record mode and record you changing the filter perhaps. So we could try that. We could try that with the bass. So if we go back to the step mode, this is our bass line. So go back into record mode and let's play around with the filter.
I love the hat. I love the random hats.
Yeah, it just keeps you going a little bit.
Oh man,
this is less robotic, more human. Yeah, it's good, right?
What a great bit of kit. Also, last night I love a guy called Ricky Tinez. Shout out Ricky, come on, my man. And he made a point about Overbridge.
That's it. So that's the new thing for this product. If you connect it via USB, you've got loads more parameters to adjust. And it's a good way, I guess, for taking a project like this that's almost there and just sort of developing it further and just having that DAW integration.
Yeah, and as honest, that's the magic, right? All of those individual machines and analog voices will show up as individual tracks in your DAW. So no need to... Like, that was my problem, and I thought, like, the same with Ricky. He was like, yeah, it's cool having a drum machine, but if you want to then mix it afterwards, you've got to sit there and bounce them out one by one. No need to do that anymore. Elektron nailed it. And that's it.
That's it.
Thanks so much for watching. If you like what we're doing, please consider subscribing. If you don't, you know we learn from that. Hey. Thank you to Falcon. Thanks, Felix. And most importantly, thank you, Harry, mate.
Nice one, man.
Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.